So as promised, this is going to be my TBR video. Sorry, did I get you in there? I'll go over books that I'm currently in the middle of reading, and then go over the books that I'm going to start for the next month. Let's do currently reading Folder by Raymond Bolton. This is a self-published science fiction competition book. Ended up reading the first 24% before I even knew what was going on. So on hold until I get the other books all to 20%, but liked it so far. It was good. About a young man who kind of gets in a car accident and gets these mysterious powers, kind of folds reality, folds the universe, folds into another dimension. As far 24% in, that's all I know. But interesting, very interesting. The other one is Percival Gint and the Conspiracy of Days, also self-published science fiction competition. Put it on hold. Kind of middle of the road at this point. I'm hoping it gets a little bit better, but we'll see how that goes. That's by Drew Melbourne. Like it. Kind of like it. Not loving it at this point, but I'm not too far in, so we'll see if it gets better. Arm of the Sphinx up here. Been working on it for a little while. It's an audiobook that I've got. I'd like to say I'll get to it this month, but it may go back on hold again. I don't know. Broken Ascension by Dave Walsh. Self-published science fiction book. Very good. About a young man. Kind of about a pirate crew altogether. But your main character is a young man who's a painter on that pirate crew, and they find a baby. An alien baby. Obviously, this is in space, and they know the alien race exists. It's not like the alien race is somewhere out there. But the idea of Broken Ascension, this baby is important. That's as much as I can tell you without really going into spoilers. Also working on Wayfarers, the Wakeful Wanderer's Guide to New England and Beyond, I believe is how that goes. It's by Jim Infantino, self-published science fiction book. I have it on hold. And then The Dark Tower by Stephen King. This is book 7 in the Dark Tower series, named after the series, or is the book's named after the series, which the series is about going to the Dark Tower. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not very far in it, but I'm working on it. All right, new books to the TBR. We will do 1633, which is a continuation of 1632, which I read last month. I also read the short story compilation, which is, according to the 1632 website, is the next book in the series. Basically, as Eric Flint was writing the book, he would do chapter by chapter on the website, and then people would contribute. And then they started becoming fans. And then as the chapters were coming out, he said, hey, why don't you guys write little short stories about, things that are going on in the series. Some pretty notable authors wrote some short stories in the series, and just people who had never been published before. And he gave an opportunity for those people to be published. I can't say all of them were a hit. I can't say all of them were great. That's kind of how short stories go. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But there were some really good ones in there. And then at the very end, he writes the last short story. He kind of ties all those stories together and makes them canon. So it was pretty cool. So 1633, next book in the series. Technically book 3, but actually book 2. That's by Eric Flint and David Weber. David Weber helped him co-author that. John Quincy Adams, Militant Spirit by, I can't remember if it's James or Henry Traub. Traub. I'll put a picture up. That one is going to be the next biography of a president. John Quincy Adams, first son of a president to become a president. And I liked him as Secretary of State for Monroe. And we'll see how his presidency went. All right. Magic Engineer by L.E. Modesitt Jr. This is book 3. I remember this one being my favorite of the original trilogy. And then I believe the same character is in book 4. So as we've gone so far, we have one character, Laris. He's the first guy. And then the second character is Cassis, maybe? I can't remember what the second guy's name was. But it's really a book about two people. So a man and a woman are kind of put together and fall in love. They're kind of forced together by some magic. And they fall in love, and it's a bit of a love story. And then the third is about a young man who is an engineer, and he creates motors and engines. But because those things can be used for death, to create death, he has to go to the mainland because he's not allowed to be on Recluse. If you know anything about Recluse, they're kind of very exclusive. You have to be a non-kill-em-up order magician to live there. So he goes back to the regular world. He keeps making these war machines that he doesn't want to make, but he makes them. He spends a lot of time as a blacksmith. I do really like the blacksmith in fantasy. I think it's a lot of fun. Next will be The Lost World, continuing on in the Jurassic Park read-along. I think it's like JP something 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 21 hashtag. I'll put it in the thingy majigger. But yeah, I really enjoyed Jurassic Park. I think I may have enjoyed it the most out of everybody. I had a blast with it. I couldn't put it down. I couldn't stop reading it. So Lost World, I'm excited for. I want to see what Michael Crichton did. The second movie in the series and the third movie in the series were not very good. So let's see if the second book was pretty good. So last month I read Starship Troopers. I'm sorry. Last month I read Old Man's War. But when I met John Scalzi, he said Starship Troopers was a huge influence on this book. So before I went into Ghost Brigades, which is the next one in this series, I wanted to read Starship Troopers and kind of see his inspiration. I've been wanting to read this book for a long time. Watched the movie and loved it. The satirical take on... really the director there went for a fascist idea, like heavy nationalism, fascist idea here. And I want to see the politics that Heinlein was going for, because when I've read about what he went for, it was more, it wasn't fascist. And I think that's an interesting dynamic that the person who had permission to create the movie took it in a different direction than what the author of the book took it. So I'd love to see where the author of the book was actually coming from. Because I have one of my good friends, one of the best videos I've ever watched from one of my good friends, Seagulls Gather, was him talking about fascism and Starship Troopers. And I'd wanted to read it, and then when he did that video, man, I went out and bought this book, and then I lost it. I couldn't find it for over a year. And then when we were cleaning something up, I found it under my dresser. Weird that it had fallen back there, but it had. And now I'm excited to read it, especially after reading Old Man's War. And then last but certainly not least, continuing on with the Lost Fleet read-along, we're finally getting the story from the other side of the story. We're going to do the former Syndic perspective, the land of Midway. So we start the Lost blah, 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 blah. So we start the Lost Stars series, starting with book 1, Tarnished Night. And for a little while there, it was actually free on Audible. If you want, you can check. It may still be free on Audible. I picked it up for free on Audible, and or maybe it was 99 cents. I can't remember. But I'm excited for that book because it's a different perspective, different take. We're not following Blackjack anymore. We're going to follow some other people. Some people we've already met, but we are following some other people. So that's going to be cool. I will leave you with that. This is the October TBR. I should have done a horror book. I may throw in a horror book. So don't hold me hard to this TBR, because I may get in a horror mood and just be like, I'm going heavy horror this month because I forgot it was Halloween when I started creating this TBR. And then I thought, you know what? I really ought to do something like Pet Cemetery or something, shouldn't I? Stay tuned. I may change the whole TBR after this video comes out. So talk to you later. Bye.